Well, thanks once more for joining me here on my YouTube channel for another look at an iconic machine from my world of classic dirt bikes. Now in this featured video we are going to take a look at Graham Ferguson's lovely 1981 RMX 125 Suzuki. Now this featured bike was originally bought by Graham Ferguson, who runs his very busy Mickey Oates motorcycle shop in Glasgow in Scotland, and Graham's primary intention was to restore the bike, race it, then put the machine on display in the shop. Now Graham used to have one of these little two-stroke screamers when he was a schoolboy back in the day, so when this one became available through an internet auction site, he thought it would be a great way to bring back some of those old, long-lost childhood memories. Now when Graham first purchased the bike, it certainly wasn't in the prime of its life and was in a very tatty condition, but nevertheless Graham could see the potential in it. And the bike, on the whole, was more or less all there, but without doubt it needed loads and loads of work. Although of course, as Graham intended to do a complete nut and bolt restoration on the bike, the actual original condition of the machine was not an issue for Graham. Now these little 125 Suzuki flying machines were very innovative in at least two respects. This of course was Suzuki's first ever venture into liquid-cooled off-road engine manufacturing, and of course that pioneering rear full floater suspension was also a big development and a quite radical design of the time. Now after the bike was completely stripped, Graham then sent the frame for bead blasting and powder coating. And while that was being taken care of, he then concentrated on the engine, which was then stripped, meticulously inspected and then rebuilt with all its new associated internals, including bearings, gaskets and seals. Now the barrel of the motor was in surprisingly good shape for its time and only required refurbishment and a new piston and ring. Now some high quality, high temperature black engine paint was then sourced and added to the motor to finish it off, as it then waited patiently to be reunited to the newly refurbished frame. Now with a newly finished and painted frame back from the paint shop, Graham set about rebuilding the rolling chassis. Now the original front forks on the bike only required routine servicing and then fitting back to the bike, along with a pair of these external gaiters to protect the fork stanchions from stones and dirt. Now of course this particular model of Suzuki was very innovative because of this full floater rear single shock suspension on this particular model, and it was a very innovative design for its time when you consider that most motocross models of this era were still using a twin shock suspension at the time. Now as far as I'm aware, this type of suspension works very well on the racetrack. It's a single hydraulic shock with this gas remote reservoir tucked up just underneath the fuel tank. Now during the build, Graham told me that sourcing some of the more intricate replacement parts to complete the renovation of the bike were obtained by using his valuable contacts through the shop. Nevertheless, he still had to make use of his old pal Martin Crooks at Crooks Suzuki in Barrow-in-Furness to get the remainder of all the other genuine Suzuki pieces he needed to complete the job. Now the original exhaust system on the bike was in a pretty poor state, so Graham sourced this very high quality exhaust and tailpipe from DNG, who of course manufacture all manner of systems for all kinds of dirt bikes and have been doing so for at least the last 29 years. And believe me, there is a very nice rasp given off by that lovely DNG tailpipe. Now, as the rebuild continued, Grimm fitted brand new plastics along with new decals, and a newly refurbished seat was also then bolted on. Now, these little 125 Suzukis were of course very light machines for the racetrack, and they were quite easy to throw around, and at just 192 pounds dry weight you could see exactly how. Now, the original fuel tank was not in the best of condition, so Grimm managed to source this replacement, and along with the replacement tank, Grimm fitted brand new side panels and these lovely radiator scoops. Now, the entire strip and rebuild took Grimm about 6 months to complete, and that was between working on the bike and doing his day-to-day job running his very busy Mickey Oates motorcycles shop. Now, of course, all the other items, including handlebars, cables, grips, etc., are all standard off-the-shelf motocross parts. Now, the original wheels on the bike were reused. These were just refurbished and then rebuilt with brand new stainless steel spokes, and then fitted with a pair of Maxxis tyres. Now, the brake hubs were also fitted with brand new bearings and a new set of brake shoes. Now, after the bike was completed, Grimm unfortunately never got to take the bike for its first spin, because soon after it was finished it was placed in the corner of the Mickey Oates motorcycles showroom for display, until a Suzuki fanatic then spied it and bought the bike on the spot to add to his collection of Suzuki off-roaders. So there you have it. I hope you've enjoyed this little video. That's Graham Ferguson's lovely 1981 RMX 125 Suzuki. This video was brought to you in association with VMX Magazine, the world's #1 publication for all your classic and vintage dirt bike motorcycles.